Sing to God a new song. For God has done marvelous things. Oh, freedom. Sing to God a new song, for God has done marvelous things. So I actually, because of the campfire, I thought about holding this service off until next week. Right? Seemed to make sense. We'll gather at 3 p.m. I think that's right to sing. And it will be good to sing next week. But it's always good, isn't it? If somewhat disruptive, sometimes, in certain contexts. We sing in church. We sing along at concerts. We sing carols at people's homes and outdoors. We sing in the shower, sometimes, some of us. We sing at the dinner table. It's sometimes welcome and sometimes not. And we sing at rallies and protest marches, or we try to. And each time we are reminded of the power of creativity and creation as we make something new in the moment. No matter how old the song might be, it's new in that moment and for that moment. And sometimes, after all, we do need that reminder. We need the reminder of our own ability to make something new. As we gather here in late fall with the cold and the wind moaning around us, with the ups and downs of the news and in our lives, it is so easy to just sort of hunker down, keep our eyes on our feet, and try to soldier through the limited hours of sun we are granted each day. But of course, that isn't really what we're supposed to be doing, is it? We need to keep those heads up. We know this. We need to sing, literally or metaphorically. For as we move through the dying earth, our walk of faith reminds us that we can each listen to the still, small voice within, planting the seeds of a new song. Right now. Even now, in the cold and the dark. Now, we may feel, some of us, like we are in a cage of our many concerns. We may feel like we've switched into survival mode. And this might be the reason for us that we do not hear or recognize or sing the new song the psalmist reminds us of today. But as Maya Angelou once told us, the caged bird still sings. The caged bird sings of freedom. Oh, freedom. Which is to say that people sing not because it is easy, but because life can be quite hard. And the seeds of our liberation lie in God's gift of creation, of creativity, of our ability to put our current world into words as well as our future dreams. So let's take a look, just for a minute, at Psalm 98, which exhorts us, in spite of everything, to sing and to praise, to shout with joy before God who reigns in majesty. And whatever else this psalm may be, it's a hymn. It is a hymn. All psalms, in fact, are hymns, for use in public and private worship, going back to their composition and eventual compilation in the distant past. The book of Psalms is, in fact, a hymn book, as much as the ones that I have piled in front of me today, as much as the ones that we sing from every Sabbath. In some ways, the people who sang the 98th Psalm originally, written thousands of years ago, were different people from who we are right now. But in another way, we are exactly the same. And their song we make new when we sing it or recite it or pray it. Because they dealt with love and loss like we do. They faced oppression and disinterested rulers like we do. They know cruelty, kindness, and grace. They knew sickness and health. They knew competence and incompetence, success and failure, feast and famine. And we do too. So when they gathered to, in the words of Reverend Sam Hauser, to sing a new song, not of triumph, but of truth, in the language of repair, in the rhythm of mercy, in the trembling key of we are not done yet, they too were pecking holes in the hard shell that surrounded them and kept them from living authentically. They too were caged birds seeking freedom, just like us. Just like us. Now, this song is set in the terms of music. It's literally a song telling us to sing. But as I mentioned earlier, really, we are talking about creativity here. And there are all kinds of ways to be creative. God, the Creator, placed in each of us this creative urge. And when we seek freedom, when we seek to resist, even break the cage, this power of creation is where we start. It's where we start. Now, certain experts, there's always experts. Certain experts will tell us that we should leave the creating up to them. Wait for the museum to curate the paintings, or wait for Spotify to suggest your new favorite music. That's not the way. We know that. That is the noise of the powers. Not all art is fungible. Not all art is marketable or deemed good by the tastemakers. Our psalm says, "Shout with joy, all you lands. Lift up your voice, rejoice and sing." This ability, this creation, is fundamental to what it means to be human. So whether the authorities like our creations or not, I have good news. As long as our creations are done in love, they have value, they have meaning, they are worthy of affirmation. So have any of you familiar with the Museum of Bad Art? Some hands. All right, a few of you. MOBA is what you're supposed to call it. Now, MOBA moves around and is currently located at the Dorchester Brewing Company in Boston. But I went once when they were having a show in downtown Dedham, and I have to say, it's hilarious. But it is also poignant. It is also necessary. For each of its pieces, while frequently quite bad in a technical and aesthetic sense, each of its pieces celebrates the power of creative expression, of the inner souls of the so-called outsiders who made it. They too are singing songs of freedom. Now, outsider art is a whole thing, actually. When I lived in northern Maine, I knew a guy who would paint old pianos with bright colors and the occasional slogan and then put them on his lawn for us to see and experience as we drove by. And he would leave them in the rain. They would just sit out there until they rotted away. But that's outsider art. Is it really bad? No. It's authentic. It's a new song. But it's also, since it's basically painted garbage, it's also transgressive. It makes us question the cage we live our lives in. And that does make people uncomfortable. So what does that mean for us today? This singing a new song in the darkness of our world. It means that we should find ways to express ourselves as authentically as possible, regardless of what societal judgment might say, and to reach out in courage with the inner motions of our hearts to the sometimes hostile world, because singing a new song in the midst of the old is a form of joyful resistance. That's why we bring those tambourines. It's joyful resistance, even if no one hears it but us, ourselves, and God. Now, this doesn't mean that we cannot put thought and care, even love, into our songs. It just means we need, as always, to move ourselves toward the reign of God, rather than the rules of the world. And it can also mean that we move slowly and prayerfully in our composition, whatever that looks like. Now, lately, I've been exploring a prayer book used by a Celtic Christian group called the Northumbria Community. And they have, nestled among the prayers, a little snippet of wisdom that I originally thought was like an ancient Celtic prayer, translated from the Gaelic. But it turns out it's from the folk singer Donovan Leitch. And if you're my age, you know Donovan Leitch for the song Mellow Yellow, which even then we were confused by. But this is what he wrote and sang. You can find this on Spotify. If you want to live life free, take your time, go slowly. Do few things, but do them well. Simple joys are holy. If you want to live life free, take your time, go slowly, do few things, but do them well. For simple joys are holy. And when we are making that song of our lives, that's how we should start. We should start simply. Now, another show of hands. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's okay. Have any of you ever tried to write a song or a poem? Yeah. I have, frequently. But I always have trouble, and this will come as a shock to none of you. I have trouble with complexity. I do not let my compositions breathe. I love words so much that if I wrote a verse of Michael Rowe the Boat Ashore, it would probably be explaining exactly how you trim those sails. But the most timeless creation breathes. It stays on topic and doesn't over-explain. Oh, freedom. We shall overcome. We shall not be moved. The 98th Psalm. These are timeless songs, perpetually new, because the simple divine love is present in them. And each time we sing, they invite us to bring ourselves to that love. But we are so often worried about complexity, aren't we? We are worried about the complexity of our daily lives today. But the new song is simple. We are held hostage today by the challenges of anti-immigrant sentiment, the secret police at our door, of the forced scarcity brought about by the assault on SNAP and the rest of the social safety net. We despair in the coldness of the world, but the new song, the one in our hearts, is simple. It is timeless. It is holy. We face the darkness in our own lives, health concerns, money concerns, problems over relationships and jobs, and we're concerned for the safety of our loved ones. But that simple new song is still inside. Whatever prison we find ourselves inhabiting today, it is a new song of freedom, and we can sing it. We can manifest it. We can sing that simple song. For that song exists wherever divine love exists. And that love, the love that is God, is everywhere, even when we are alone. And with that song of love in our hearts, we can feel the assurance of Paul in Romans, a man imprisoned many times by an unjust government and by his own body in the depths of pain. We know, he says, that all things work for the good of those who love God, who have been called according to God's purpose. So let us take a moment in silence to hear the song in our own hearts, and let it sing before the divine.